Hey everybody, it's me, Froggy, and I've got notes today, so we'll see how well I stick to them. All right, today's topic, I haven't decided on an official title. I guess I will when I post it, but something to the effect of your gut feeling, or maybe something flashier like your gut feeling and you, or so you're about to go boots on the ground. How can your gut feelings help you? I don't know. It's a work in progress. I think once the video's done and I see the path it went, I'll have a title there. But this video is not, I want to get this out of the way in the first minute. This video is not a clue talk, right? I'm not going to label it as a clue talk. I'm not going to reveal any solves in this one. This one, I am going to put it with each playlist. I'm going to put it with the playlist for JCB and the playlist for Justin Posey because I think it applies to both. In my mind, I view this as a personal project. It's something I've been passionate about for a while, but I've brought this topic up the last couple nights in Discord, and people mentioned that they want to see it in the treasure playlist. So, I mean, it has a direct treasure application, especially a direct boots on the ground application. So that's why I'm going to post it here. All right, that's enough of a introduction. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, exciting stuff. Most of us have heard the term gut feeling, right? You go with your gut. Some people label it as intuition, all right? And there's kind of I don't know if misnomer is the right word, but there's a tendency to label whenever you start to quantitate or define your gut feeling. It gets kind of pseudoscience-y, right? So did a little bit of research, and the National Institute of Health, they don't really your gut feeling. There's not really a scientific term for it. Most of the time, what it is indigestion or something going on with your digestive process that causes a feeling. Now, the mechanics of how this works, again, full disclosure, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a dude looking for treasure who gets interested about this kind of stuff. The science and mechanics behind it involves something called the vagus nerve, all right? So your gut feeling, some people call it intuition, all right? It has to do with the nervous system and the electrical connection between your brain and your gut. Right, and whether you're intelligent design, whether you're a creationist, whether you're a evolutionist, it doesn't matter. Scientists, doctors agree, right? There is a connection between the brain and the gut, right? So we can argue all day about your own beliefs about how it got to that point. The point is we're here right now, and there's a connection between the brain and the gut, right? And it comes in pretty handy because it allows your brain to have, without you consciously thinking about it, or you're aware of it, your brain has a direct connection to how your body's doing at all times, right? Whether that extra spicy Indian food is going to cause some distress in about 30 minutes, all right, your brain knows that. You don't have to really think about that. Your brain's getting a signal from your gut. Whether let's see, you ate something that doesn't agree with you and you need medical attention now, you need to fix this problem now, a sharp pain, indicating something that's urgent, your brain will be aware of that, right, without you having to manually investigate that area. Now, where the term gut feeling originates is that there's been a connection because the vagus nerve, it also, along with digestion, it also connects and has helps you feeling with mood and with stress. Right, so this is where we devolve or go away from digestion and more into emotions, right? So we're getting a little bit away from the science and a little bit more, about feelings and memories, right? Because everyone can have, well, I think everyone, 99% of you will have a moment in your life where you had a gut feeling, right or wrong, right? I mean, we can argue that later, but about 99% of you will have, if I say, hey, what was a time when you had a gut feeling about something, right or wrong, and you'll tell me about that, right? And so there is a connection, so we know about that. There's a theory, right? So this is, again, and I'll do my best to let you know when we moved away from science and facts to theories, and then I'll do my best to label when it's my own theories, right? So it goes, science, facts, theories, and my own theories, all right? So there's something called the polyvagal theory, right? Which is, there's a whole bunch of hypothesis and study about it, based on the animal kingdom and in humans. And the vagus nerve has direct connections to safety and threat. And so they tried to, put animals in stressful positions. You can't really do that with humans too much. and try to map out their decisions and behaviors. So it's a theory right now. It's got some supporting evidence, but it's not really fact yet. But a lot of people are believing that in addition with digestion, right, in addition with mood and stress, your vagus nerve, right, your they call this, what's the word I have written down here? Bidirectional exchange of information has something to do, will have, beyond digestion, right, will get you to that, what they call the lizard brain, dino brain, letting you know if you look in the woods, is there a tiger, right? And so now we're getting into the subconscious, right? And these two, in my mind, are pretty closely related. And there's a lot of papers that relate them. Not so much scientific papers, right, or medical journals, or ones that you would that you would say are verified or trustworthy or whatever. But you you look out in the woods, is there a tiger out there, right? And so if you were to freeze frame, your subconscious mind is picking up all the changes in the light pattern. If you've been in the woods before, you know what's natural, what's not natural. You know what undisturbed leaves look like. You know what disturbed leaves look like. And so all that information will be subconsciously processed, right, in just a fraction of a second, and will direct to your brain and also to your gut, right, and give you a stress, uneasy feeling that like you had something that's wrong with your digestion, and cause you to feel uneasy, all right? And that's the whole what they call like intuition. If you're not a hunter, or if you're not in an area where tigers are prevalent, you can put this play if you have children, all right? So that's another good one. If you have an adult child, you can say you know them very well, right? You can know that adult child if you grew up with them and spent time raising them. You'll know their moods. You can take a look at them, right? And you know how they're feeling most of the time, right? And the way this is not because don't yell at me right away. There's not an innate scientifically proven connection between parent and offspring, right? Because you can, if you were adopted or if you were taken away from your biological parents at birth, and maybe there's something there, right? But they're not going to know you as well as someone who raised you, right? The point is that all those hours, minutes, days, years spent raising that child, your brain absorbed information. You have years of experience, years of memories, years of cause and effect with that one individual person, and all that's built up to a memory-based database with that one person. So when you look at them as an adult or a teenager or whatever, you can kind of get a feeling for micro expressions, for how they sound, right? How they look, their temperature, right? Their actions, and that'll give you information about it. So again, you just think about this logically for a second, all right? If you're a parent, all right, put your kid in front of you, and then grab Joe Smo off the street and put him in front of you. If you look at them both, who are you going to get more information from just a glance, right? It's going to be your kid, because you have all that information on it. And so you can call that your gut. Oh, my gut says this. Or you can call that my intuition about him says this. But it's all based on, there's factual, there's evidence, there's science that supports it, all right? So that's about 8 minutes of me rambling, right? Just a layman who did a lot of Googling and Wikipedia searches, right? So how do we apply this to treasure hunting, right? Because, hey, you said you're going to put this in the treasure hunting playlist, so help me find the treasure. All right, this is Froggy helping you out. When you go boots on the ground, and again, this is I should put a caveat in front of this. This is not going to be for everybody, all right? This is going to be for, if you have a history, and this is where it comes into, if you want to self-improve, you need to know yourself, right? If you want to better yourself, you have to know yourself. So if you're able to look at yourself and your past objectively, right? If you have a history of making poor decisions or of being wrong with your gut most of the time, this video is probably not going to do a lot for you, because you've got something else you need to address. Or maybe you can try just doing the opposite of whatever you feel. But I don't think that's going to work, because with treasure hunting, there's like one right and 99.9999 wrong. So just doing the opposite of what would be right, or doing the opposite of what would be wrong, doesn't make you right. I don't know if you follow that. That was a little bit confusing for me to even say. But how are we applying it? Okay, so a lot of people get in the car. That's why I wanted to put this video out now, because summertime is like pretty much upon us. We have Justin Posey's sign and meet and greet in Montana. We have people going out all over the place. I myself am going Next, so this is a good reminder for me too. I'm going next week to Vermont. All right, we're doing boots on the ground, and I'm hopefully going to share some footage with you guys in Vermont of Little Rock Pond. So you pull up, you park in the parking lot, you get off. Maybe this even starts as you're driving. All right, when you make your turn off the highway, when you pull into whatever park you're pulling into, whatever area, you're going to start to get a feeling. Okay, and if you've been if you're a first timer, the feeling's probably not going to help you as much unless you have a lot of experience with the woods or a lot of experience in looking for things. Maybe you're a detective, bounty hunter. Maybe you're a metal detector enthusiast. All right, then maybe it'll help. But if you're a first timer, you're going to pull into an area. It's probably not going to help that much. But if you've been there before, especially if you've gone boots on the ground before, you're going to get a feeling based on your experiences, right? And the feeling's either going to say, oh, this could be it, this feels good, or it's going to say, no. Sorry, I don't know if the volume cut out there. I keep forgetting to, before I record, put myself in Do Not Disturb. Let me do that now. Okay. Oh, all right, we're back. Sorry for that disturbance. Train of thought, look at my notes. Okay, you're gonna have a feeling, all right? And you're gonna have a feeling when you pull into that area. And so it's either going to say, oh yeah, this is it, this feels good, or it's going to say, nah, I don't think it's it. And I've had both those feelings before. All right, I'm still consider myself amateur, very very newbie, very beginner in this whole thing. I think I've got 8 boots on the grounds under my belt for various boxes east of the Mississippi. Haven't gone west yet. But I've started to experience that. You pull into an area, it's like, no, I can see a Walmart from here. This is not it. Or I can hear the highway, something like that. And so this is where we come into building our baseline, all right? And this is where I can understand the frustration of people who you're not able to, because the way you build your baseline is you have your rule set, all right? So the things you're looking for, what you should be doing is you should be not only looking for clues and hints, but you should be coming up with the rules for the hunt, right? So you have, and both authors do a great job. Most treasure hunt creators do a good job of having the rules. And then they also go on above and beyond and say where the treasure is going to be at. So some of the rules we're looking for is safety is a big one, right? That's an easy one to cover. JCB's been great about, saying about where to look, right? So we're not looking for cliff faces. Justin's talked about caves, talked about, underwater. And so if you're in an area, if you get out, those are the rules. And if you see any of those, or if your subconscious is telling you, hey, you know what your subconscious is seeing is hearing a lot of water, is seeing a lot of steep elevations, you're going to get that feeling that this is not it, right? You have to listen to that feeling, because if you're wasting time, and there's always caveats with all of this, right? Because treasure hunting is not a science. If it was, it'd be like 1 or 2 people who have it cracked and they'd be solving everything, right? If you're in an area where you've been wanting to go, you got the kids, it's a family vacation, hey, go on and finish your exploration, right? Do the hike, right? Do the hike knowing that you're not going to find anything. Tune out your brain from trying to pick up little things in the bush, and tune into enjoying your family time and enjoying the sights and the sounds, right? That's one thing you can do. But if you're out there solely for the purpose of looking for treasure, right? It's all about building your baseline, getting your memory in. This is why we discuss ad nauseum what we think the rules are the parameters. Parameters might be a better word than rules. There's so much discussion, I won't say argument, it's discussion over distance from the road, right? If you've been hiking for about an hour and a half after you parked your car, you should be getting the feeling that, this is probably not the area, all right? Because you're walking way too far. I think if you're hitting the 2-hour mark, you're probably way off for both of them, right? All right, let's go back to the notes, because we're kind of dabbling out. The gut feeling, like I said, I tie it into your subconscious mind, and this is where there's a lot of science about it. I mean, there's sports science, military science, any kind of science you wanna throw out there. Just put the word science at the end of an adjective or something. So sports, it's about muscle memory, right? You do repetition, you do an act. Baseball players out there will take hundreds of thousands of swings to get the repetition of the swing, so their muscles, so they don't have to think about the swing. It's automatic, right? boxers, they'll do all kinds of bag work, do all kinds of sparring, working with, working with their coach, learning all kinds of combinations that could come in, and then they know how to counter them, right? So they're making decisions faster than they can think. It's instinctual, all right? So, all right, hold on. I know you're not swinging a bat and we're not punching things out there in the woods, all right? Let's go into hunters, right, and the military, right? So this will be a little bit more for our experience. Hunters, depending on how you learn, right? Most people were taught by a friend or family member, and someone who's knowledgeable will go out and this is what you're looking for, right? You're looking for the spoor, the tracks, the signs, the trails, right? And the first couple of times, unless, I don't know, you're a natural, the first couple of times you may need someone to point it out. Hey, here's my finger, look at this. This is a track. Hey, here's my finger, look at this. This is disturbed leaves or broken branches or rubbings on the side of a tree, right? And then you'll go out there, you got to get your reps in, you got to get the practice in, then you go out there and you'll be picking those things up, all right? Your gut, eventually, your subconscious, you'll look into the brush, your eye will start to see the disturbed signs, the trails, the rubbings, before you can even, you're even aware of seeing them, and you'll get the feeling like, yeah, I think there's deer in this area. Or like, yeah, I think there's whatever game you're hunting. Yeah, I think it's here. Or you'll see the absence of it and say, now let's continue on to a certain area. All right. So how can we work that with treasure hunting, right? So one, there's actually finding things, which is very hard because hundreds and thousands of people can play something, only one person can win. So only one person is going to get that experience of finding something. All right. You can help your odds with that by joining smaller local hunts. All right. It's been a couple months into both of these big ones, right? No one's found anything yet, as I believe, right? Some people may believe different. But there's all kinds of smaller ones on the East Coast and the West Coast, and this is not self-serving because I don't have one running right now, right? So I waited till I didn't have one running so you wouldn't say I'm self-servicing, right? I mean, I will have one eventually in a couple months, but that's neither here nor there. Well, it is there. But yeah, join some smaller hunts, all right? Get a feeling for... especially the ones, and many of the smaller ones do this, they show you what you're looking for, which is great, all right? It's very frustrating to not know what you're looking for, and then if you don't even find it, right? So know what you're looking for, get some practice with it. Hopefully, maybe someone watching this video will find one, and then they'll get that experience under their belt. And the next time you go out searching, you'll have a little bit of a baseline of an idea, because if it's your first time, I remember my first time when I went out, I had like no idea what I was doing. I'm looking over everywhere, or I think I'm looking everywhere, and I'm missing obvious places to look. It's all about reps, repetitions. It's all about getting experience out there. Now, what if you're not able to go out there? Or what if it's cost prohibitive to search an area you want? Or the area, if you're maybe live in a big city, you can't really get out that easily, and it's not going to do you any good searching around the alley behind your neighborhood 7-Eleven or something, right? Well, there's other areas of treasure hunt, thankfully, right? You have the puzzles, right? You have reading comprehension. And so I would advise there, again, start small. Work on, there's tons of mobile games that are all puzzle based, right? Don't do the ones that you have to pay for, right? But do the ones that, the word scrambles, the anagrams, there's a couple cipher websites that you can go and practice. That'll get your brain the same way that a hunter would go out and pick up signs on a trail, the same way an athlete would be in a position and know how to react. You're going to look at information, you're going to look at a paragraph and say, this feels like a puzzle I've done, I think there's something in here. Or you're going to say, this looks just like a normal piece of prose, I don't think there's anything in there, right? And you'll only get that by solving little puzzles and getting the answers for them. That's why it's so frustrating. Right now, nobody knows if they're right or wrong with all the puzzles that we've solved because we don't have the answer sheet yet. Do some simple ones. There's tons of websites, tons of books, tons of free stuff out there that have easy puzzles, easy solves, easy riddles, and you get the confirmation that, okay, this is what I think is right. Let me turn the page, or let me scroll to the next whatever. Oh, I'm right, or oh, I'm wrong. Here's where I went wrong. Here's where I messed up. All that's going to build a baseline. So when you look at a story from either author, you'll be able to look at it and say, I think there's something here, because your brain has been in that situation before and it's picked up pattern. It's pattern recognition, it's muscle memory, not just your physical muscles out there, but your mental muscles. It's all about building a baseline, right? And this is the best advice I have for now's a good time to put this out because there are people who are getting frustrated, right? I've heard the frustrations. I think I'm doing okay myself, not really feeling that frustrated, but I've heard from others that, especially people who have gone boots on the ground, who maybe spent a good chunk of money out there, or spent a good chunk of time, and they came up empty, right? Nothing that you did wrong. I'm just saying now you have a baseline, now you've had that experience. Let's get more, and let's get more that's inside your comfort zone, whether it's for your spin comfort zone or your times comfort zone, whatever. If you're in the bathroom, you want to scroll, do a couple ciphers, do a couple puzzles. If you're sitting down, if you want a second screen, watch a show and have something on there, I think the science is out if that's good or bad or not. I'm guilty of it myself. Or if you live near a beautiful area, if you live near a large expanse of land, go out there and even if you're not looking for something, going out there in nature and walking the trails, you can pick up you'll get a good baseline for what's normal, for what undisturbed undisturbed brush looks like. So even if you don't have a treasure hunt, hey Esty, hey Froggy, there's no treasure hunt near me. All right, is there trails near you? Is there nature out there? Go out and walk them. Go out, touch some grass. Go out, spend some time in there. You'll get the feeling. You'll get the hint. You'll notice it yourself. You'll start looking. You'll start finding trash. All right, that'd be the first hint. You can even make it a game. How much trash can you find? That's a great example. One, you're doing something good for the environment. Two, you're looking for what doesn't belong, right? Because that's another thing we're looking for is what doesn't belong. Now, it's been from the best guess. It's been so long since both Justin and JCB hid something out there. I don't think you're gonna be able to pick up their trail. I don't know. Maybe some super tracker, Jason Bourne would be able to go out there and find their 2-year-old trail in the woods. I don't know if that's even possible. I highly doubt it. So I'm not saying you're going to look for Justin's trail out there, right? But you might look for something that's been disturbed, all right? One thing I came across was, I did it twice. First time I thought it was a person, and it turned out to be deer bedding down, right? Where deer were laying down, the impression. But the second time I saw where another searcher had been probably in the last couple of days, and I saw where they were looking. All right, and so I just went over to see what they were looking for because I saw the disturbed, I saw the snapped, underbrush, I saw stuff pushed aside. I actually saw a couple boot prints. All right, snow's great for that, but you can pick it up even without the snow. So these are all just good practices to help you become a better treasure hunter, right? Because it's not all about just reading the book, reading the poem, reading the book, reading the poem, reading the book, reading the poem. That would be the equivalent of just just doing batting practice every day and expecting to become a great baseball player, right? Okay, yeah, you'll be a good hitter, right? Or maybe just doing batting practice with only taking fastballs, right? You set the little pitch machine, the fastballs, and it's just every day, all day, hitting fastballs. All right, so you're good at that, right? But what about fielding? What about throwing? There's other aspects to the game. So when you get burnt out from reading the stories, when you get burnt out from reading the poem, hey, find a little word game, find a little word puzzle, do it, attempt it, get it right or wrong, find out where you went wrong, correct it. That'll help you out. I don't really know, the puzzle thing I can kind of know and have researched about. I don't really know how to make yourself a better reader other than just reading. I don't know if you're someone who struggles reading. Yeah, I don't really have any tips for that. But it's all about building your baseline, getting the data into your computer, right? You yourself, and that would be reading it several times, listening to it several times, even writing it down, right? Because people learn all different ways, visually, auditory, mechanically, all different ways, right? All right, let's go to my notes, see what I'm missing here. So your subconscious mind, right, operates below the conscious level, and it goes based off memories and emotions. Now, I will say emotions. This is what makes it not a science, or makes it not exact, is because every one of us, everyone watching this video, you have a different situation in your life. You're in a different place, right? Some of you are retired, some of you are comfortably well off, some of you are not. Some of you are experiencing stressors, right? Financial stress, medical stress, health stress, relationship stress, right? And so all of those are going to affect your subconscious, and they're going to affect your gut. As well as if you eat spicy Indian food the day before you go out boots on the ground, right? You might be feeling, oh, this is not it, when really it's just telling you got to use the bathroom ASAP. So everyone's is their life or their home situation or their non-treasure hunt situation is different, right? And so this is what's going to affect your gut feeling and your emotions. Because let me give you an example. let's say you have a spot to go boots on the ground, and all indicators are that it's not the right one. Um, it's not remote. You were like 2 minutes off the highway. Um, there's a field trip, a little kid field trip that pulled up right next to you in the parking lot, and on top of that, I don't know, there's uh, what's something unsafe? It's snakes all around. All right, but you're like, oh, that tree, it looks like the same tree in the book, and the sun and the moon led me here, and the name of the park is the name of the author's grandmother. So all these things must make it here. And on top of that, like, you're in such a stressful situation that you need a win. Like you're either financially insecure, or your health is such that, or you have a loved one that's such that this is your only time you can go out. So this is your only boots on the ground. You're not going to be able to go out for another 2 years. It's got to be here. And so you rush and you go out and you spend all day long looking at a place that, by all accounts, you should have just pulled in the parking lot and left. But now you're frustrated and now you're down. All right, so that's kind of my aim, is to try to help people choose the best boots on the ground spot. Right? You don't have to believe my solves. Right? You don't have to go where I'm saying going. I'm just saying go to a spot that makes sense. All right, and if you pull up to that spot and if you have a great feeling, then explore it. If you pull up to that spot and you don't feel great about it, move on. Find a better spot. All right, because most of us don't have an unlimited time to search for it, so you want to make the time that you are searching count. Now, there may be situations where like you can only search on this one day, and so you have to go with your best guess, right? And I've been there before. Right? I've done that. I've had, a free day. I've been in the area for something, and I'm like, well, it's a low probability that it's here, but what else am I gonna do, right? Just look at Instagram all day, so let's go out and touch some grass. And you can call that building your baseline, right? You can call that getting experience, boots on the ground, learning what to look for, what's natural, what's not natural. So, hopefully this is coming across as encouraging. It's not. Hopefully someone gets something good out of this. Hopefully, someone comes up with a new way to train their brain. I mean, all this stuff is great for your brain, anyways. The older we get, the more we should be engaged in learning and keeping our brains active, because if you're out of school and maybe you're coming to the end of your working time in your life, then your brain starts to slow down and you don't just want to watch Netflix all day because you're not challenging it. And those mental muscles, right, those neurons, your connections are going to become no good. They're going to become no good, right? So you want to keep it active. So that's another side effect of this whole thing, is that you'll be keeping your brain sharp. I think that's what else. In the car, I think so. I think most of you know about this, right? This isn't something new I'm saying. This is just more of a reminder. Almost everyone here has some aspect of their life where their subconscious is well trained and active, and most of us, I think, driving would be that, right? If you've been driving for a while. Hopefully, you're a good driver and you're not a distracted driver. You've put enough time and hours on the road that you can recognize safe and unsafe situations, right? Your brain, you can be having a conversation with someone or listening to music, and your peripherals, you'll pick up that speeding car coming up behind you, right? You'll pick up the distracted driver in the next lane that's weaving, all right? Your eye will pick up the movement, send a signal to your brain, alert, 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 and you'll pick it up, right? You'll and that's intuition. That's your subconscious, being at work, right? You'll look at a car and you'll see it's all beat up and their driver's slumped low in the seat, and you're like, this just seems like a high risk car to be around. Let me speed up or slow down and let it go by me, right? That's a gut feeling. I don't think this guy is good news, right? He might not have insurance, might not care about his car, so let me just slow down, all right? So that's driving, or relationships. People who have been in bad relationships, they say, there was all kinds of red flags that I didn't see. Well, the next time, hopefully you're picking up on those same red flags, and you're like, yeah, this sketchy guy with spider tattoos all over his face, and I don't know, missing teeth and bruised knuckles, called Bruiser. Yeah, maybe I won't let him buy me a drink, and I don't know, that analogy went out the window there. But yeah, parents, cars, driving, relationships, business. People have an area of their life where their subconscious is pretty developed. They're well trained. Sports, anybody goes to the gym or whatever. And so all the hunters and enthusiasts, metal detectors, right? You can look at an area and, you think, oh, I think something's going to be here. Right? You've done your research for high probability of a find. The thing is, we're just trying to apply that training or knowledge from other areas to treasure hunting, right? And if you're new, you want to build that base, right? So bottom line, do some little hunts, solve some little puzzles, go online, solve some little ciphers and riddles, get your brain trained, recognize the patterns, go outside, touch some grass, go outside, walk some trails, pick up some trash, make the world a better place a little bit. And then when you get to a boots on the ground spot, you'll have that feeling, good feeling or bad feeling. And I guess the last thing would be try not to let your outside influences dictate your solve. And this is something that, it's hard to do, right? You've had a lifetime of, especially if you haven't been aware of your emotions, or most people have a lifetime of letting their emotions kind of rule or run them and dictate their decisions. And that's kind of not the best thing. So hopefully this was informative to someone. Put it out there. We'll see. I don't know. All right. Bye, guys. Good luck.